Hey, you guys, and welcome to American Culture. I am finally ready to discuss the events that took place over the last 72 hours. You see, a couple of weeks ago, Spirit started letting me know I needed to take a break. I was at the end of a major cycle, and I needed a day. And so I was like, let me go someplace nice. And I first thought about St. Thomas. I wasn't trying to go to South America and have to look over my shoulder. I just wanted a trip where I could go and hear the Lord because apparently that's what he told me to do. Now, some of you are going to be like, well, do you have to go away to hear God? Yeah, if he tells you to do that, yeah, you do. And so I decided that, I wanted to go to St. Thomas. But here's the thing, in my humanity, I'm still very frugal, not really knowing how to handle the abundance and the wealth. And if I start living like that, what will people think? You know what I mean? I didn't want to go through that. So I was like, let me take a trip to St. Croix. It was a few $100s cheaper. And in my logical self, I was like, well, if it's only for a couple, let me just go to St. Croix. So I booked that trip, but God started telling me, Alicia, don't you get a place to stay until the morning of. Now, I've looked around, I'm not even going to lie, but I made sure not to go ahead and buy a place for me to stay, out at St. Croix until the day of. I waited, but here's the thing, like I said, I wanted to go out there in order to like listen to God, but I found myself trying to just find a place to stay that was going to give me the experience I had in mind. I wasn't recognizing at the time what God was asking me to do, which was essentially get rid of my plan so that I could fully live his. And so with St. Croix, it was all about, well, I want to be at a place with beaches and waves. It'd be nice if it was a little bit rocky. I don't really want to go anywhere. I kind of just want to be able to sit on the balcony and look out over the trees type of stuff. And I only found two places capable of giving me that experience. And up until the day of they were available, they weren't. That was my first like shocking moment. Like, oh my goodness, this isn't working out as planned. Because God had told me don't pay for it to the day of. I had this vision of where I wanted to be. And now that wasn't available to me. The thing is, the day before, you guys, I was reading over my journal today after the crazy. And on 6/11 at 9:23 in the morning, I wrote down that it is 6/11 at 9:23, and God is telling me, go hard or you won't go home. This is before the 12th, the day that I'm supposed to leave. This is Wednesday, and I'm just in my meditation. Go hard or you're not going home. Home to me is like the promised land. So I was like, okay, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to have a nice time. That's what I said. Anyway, I got to the airport. No, the next morning, the 12th. I'm supposed to leave right after I get all this stuff. I'm in the bathtub, and God starts telling me, you're going to have 3 moments today where you need to calm down. You guys, I'm not kidding. 3 moments where you need to calm down. I had gotten this text message. Like I said, my first calm down moment was when I got up at like five something. Now, granted, you guys, I hadn't even like tried to pack for St. Croix. I didn't really feel, because I never really got into planning for that. I never got into the feeling of it. And so I got up at 5 o'clock. The dog is over here staring at me. He's like, Mom, why are you? Come here, Paul, so they can see your face. He's like, why are you talking like that? Uh, he's so worried. But yeah, I hadn't even packed for St. Croix, you guys. So I got up at 5 o'clock the morning of the 12th to go ahead and pack my bag to see if I could. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Look at him. He's a good boy. Let me love him. Good boy. And so I went ahead, and that was one of the first things that I did after I packed is I went and got the room. I got a room where I didn't have to pay cash for it, and I could get, it was non-refundable, the fee or whatever. But I could try to get that money back. They would waive it. And so I was like, okay, I still don't have to pay for anything until the day of, and I'm going. And then I get this message, and it says that, oh, the plane, your plane from San Juan to San Juan is overbooked. Do you want to change your flight? And I'm like, I'm not going from San Juan to San Juan. My boarding pass says that I'm going to St. Croix. I just ignored it. I did not know then that that was my stay calm moment number two. You see, the last and final one was that my friend, my good old friend, who was supposed to take me to the airport. They have their own issues, and that's a different video for another day. They showed up an hour late, which meant that I got to the airport late, which meant that I was pushed all the way to the back because I was the last person from TSA, which means I got pushed off of the flight. So yeah, I didn't get to go there. And this stupid airline, Frontier, they don't have any more flights going to St. Croix for another week. So my trip is essentially canceled here. The thing is, I bought another ticket coming back from American Airlines, and that is still good and valid. It's not changeable either. So it's like your girl's got to get to St. Croix. And so as I'm standing there, everybody's getting on the plane. There's literally like only me and this other guy that were kicked off this plane, no place to go. I have the option. They're going to give me a $250 credit and then give me, triple, three times the price of the actual ticket that I paid. And you guys, that would have compensated me kind of for what I was out when it comes to the tickets. I just wouldn't have had the experience. But something was in me so strong that I needed to go to St. Croix. It just popped up. Why not just go to St. Thomas? So I asked them, can I get to St. Thomas tomorrow? And they said, yeah, I could. So I took that flight. The thing is, you guys, a couple weeks ago, I told you when God was telling me that I needed to rest, He let me know St. Thomas was the place. But again, I wasn't going to pay for that because it was more expensive. I had looked into, okay, if I go to St. Croix, can I get to St. Thomas? My head, my heart, everything just kept saying, for some reason, I needed to go to St. Thomas. But here I was trying to give me this really cheap experience of St. Croix. Like I didn't want to spend the money or have the money to spend. Of course, you think if you had it, you would spend it, but trust me, you get it and you still don't. You still have reservations as to should I be doing this? The answer is yes, but you'll learn that later. Anywho, back to this. So they told me, yeah, you can go to St. Thomas, and I did. God said again, Alicia, don't you buy a place to stay until tomorrow morning, but you can look for one now. Now I was like, so that I didn't get up and have to be all over that island. I found a couple places, and one was perfect. I mean, I said, is this a joke? It was a dream come true. It was up in the hills. It had, and I'll insert a picture of this probably on the screenshot. So, because I'm not going to edit this video, you guys, I told you. One day I'll have an editor. Until then, this is what you get. And so I was like, wow, I really like this place. Please let it be available tomorrow. I have no idea. I'd like to believe that God orchestrated this behind the scenes. He put this place on the market for that specific day, and I was the only one that saw it because it's not there anymore. And you would think that if they were like running this, it would be. Anyway, I loved it. I said, "You got to be kidding me! It's such a great place for me to be." And I went ahead the next morning and I got it. I got it. And I got to the airport this time. My little friend who made me late the day before felt so guilty about that. They helped me to get there early, but this time I was going to either go with the Uber without him. I wasn't going to play with it the only time I waited. Reason why I waited was because I had the dog. Long story short, I understood that it was meant to be, that I wasn't able to get on that flight because I was supposed to be reoriented to going to St. Thomas. And so, you guys, part one ends with me actually getting on the plane, and your girl made it to beautiful St. Thomas, the place where God wanted me to go. The major lesson from this, you guys, was that when given the opportunity to go anywhere in the world, and I could have, that airline was willing to fly me anywhere the next day, as long as it wasn't me take the credit voucher and leave. No, the next day they'll fly me anywhere I wanted to go. I could have went to Mexico. I could have went to Colombia. I could have, and like I said, God had been telling me in my spirit, Alicia, I am going to pay for this trip. I am going to finance this trip. And I thought that it still didn't like hit me how he was going to do that, but he did, and here I stand with the impossible now made possible. I could literally go anywhere I want to tomorrow. The girl who was like, "Ooh, I want to save a couple $100. Let me completely put myself in a space I don't want to be in order to be frugal," now has the opportunity to go anywhere in the world. And I'm essentially saying, no, let me go wherever God told me to go. I'll go to St. Thomas. And it suddenly clicked. The reason why a lot of us, we want the abundance. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. Let me have it. But the thing is, you have to learn to walk the plan, and then the abundance comes. Because if you get the abundance, who cares about the plan? It's not God's plan anymore. It's yours, So he wants you to be actively walking in the plan before you get the rest of what is coming to you. And it's because, like, he was just telling me, if you had had XYZ if you had thought about how you had it available to you to go anywhere in the world, if that kind of abundance was available to you, you might have said, let me go to Colombia. Can you get me a ticket to take me to Colombia? And if, maybe like 3 weeks, I can plan a trip around that type of stuff. That's what it would have been. When you get abundance and there is no plan, you tend to just waste it on whatever frivolous things you think are going to satisfy the ego. So God was like, no, you have to be firmly walking the plan, and then you receive the abundance. And St. Thomas was definitely the abundance that I was after. So, yeah, you guys, on day one of my trip, the whole tobacco was St. Thomas, St. Croix. God had told me the day before I was going to have to go hard or go home. Little did I know I had yet to live the hardest part of this trip. But I did go hard on my faith, and I made it to St. Thomas. So yeah, we will finish part 2 of this tomorrow. Have a blessed night, you guys.